Hello and welcome back to Artemisse Tarot. First of all, I want to say thank you so much for all your love and support on this channel so far. I really enjoy interacting with you and getting to know a bit about you in the comments, and I'm always so happy to hear that the messages resonate for you. I also appreciate all the reading topic suggestions you have come up with, and today's reading is actually based on one of these suggestions. Eventually, I'll try to get to as many of your requests as possible, and I may combine some similar topics together, so please keep an eye out for these future videos. If you are new here, thank you for joining us and welcome. For today's reading, we will be getting some love advice from your future self. This would be the version of you that is some ways further down your path, so this version of you would be best able to give you advice and guidance on what is to come, since they've already walked the mile in your shoes and have dealt with the situations you will encounter. Perhaps you are struggling with your love life, have a difficult romantic decision you need help making, or maybe you're just curious to see what love will be like for you later on in your journey. We will be receiving some insight from future you about what challenges and blockages you may face, tips on how to overcome them, as well as blessings that are waiting for you with regards to romance. This is a timeless reading, so regardless of when you find this video, there are likely messages here for you. We have 3 readings to choose from today, and there are some colorful rattan balls to help you pick. Group 1 has the blue rattan ball. Group 2 has the red rattan ball. And Group 3 has the green rattan ball. Please take your time to pick the reading that you're drawn to the most. You may pause the video if you need to. Once you've decided, please find your timestamp down below, and I will meet you at your reading. This reading is for those of you who are drawn to the blue rattan ball. Thank you for joining me here today, and welcome to your reading. We will be getting an idea of your current energy with respect to your love life, as well as the energy of your future self. We will then find out what future you wants to tell you about the blockages or challenge you may need to face, as well as what blessings are waiting for you in your love life. At the end, we will receive some love advice from your future self and see what messages you really need to hear at this point in your journey. Firstly, we shall start with an overall theme or message that your future self wants to bring to your attention regarding your love life. I meant to get only one card for this, but both of these popped out for you, so we have them both. There is the peony, which represents prosperity and compassion, with the message, prosperity depends more on wanting what you have than on having what you want. And also you have lilac, with first emotions of love, and love is the magician that pulls man out of his own hat. Wow, these are some wonderful themes to start off with. I'm getting really excited for this reading. The peony is one of my favorite flowers because they are so dreamy and romantic. They're beautiful and fragrant, and some are able to live up to 100 years, which means they can last for a person's entire lifetime. Paired with the lilac card, which represents the first emotions of love, I have a feeling that your future self wants to tell you that you will end up with someone with whom you will share a love that lasts a lifetime. And this love is so special, with a bond so deep, that you will feel like it is the first time you've ever felt this way. And like a magician, it will transform you and the way you experience love and life. It'll help you to break out of your shell, learn your lessons, and blossom into the you that you have always wanted to be. Now, taking a closer look at the message on the peony card about wanting and having, it could be that some of you watching have already been or will soon be dealing with figuring out what it is exactly that you want in love. Or perhaps you just recently started realizing that what you currently have isn't actually what you want, and you are on the path of getting in tune with your intuition and coming to terms with your truest desires. There could also be a little bit of inner conflict between what your head wants versus what your heart wants. In times of crisis, it's good to have compassion for yourself and to allow yourself time and space to do your own shadow work. A few of you who chose this pile may have never been in love before, but the cards are forecasting that it will be coming for you. It might also be that you have always believed that you've been in love before, but when you are with this special person, you'll realize that the feelings you felt prior can't even compare to the kind of beautiful love you share with this special person. I have a feeling from these cards that a lot of you may be experiencing an important turning point in your love life quite soon, and maybe some have already started on the first few steps. There could be a lot of inner reflection and growth in store for you, but I definitely feel that things will be taking a turn for the better in your romance. Let's start by getting a bit of an understanding of your current energy, what you may be going through right now, and what you might be dealing with in your love life. If these cards resonate with you, it can also act as further confirmation for you that this is indeed your reading. We have the Ten of Pentacles, the Devil, and the Seven of Swords. The Ten of Pentacles speaks of wealth, completion, achievement, and abundance, especially in physical and material means. This is a very positive card, so for a few of you, things may actually be quite good with romance right now. However, since the Devil and the Seven of Swords came out together with the Ten of Pentacles, I do get the feeling that for the majority of you watching, things are a little bit more complicated and not as perfect as they may seem, because the Devil represents vice, toxicity, and dysfunction, and the Seven of Swords could be about deception, dishonesty, and escape. For those of you who currently are in a relationship, you may appear to have the ideal Ten of Pentacles relationship in the eyes of others, but you may be noticing that something is off. It could be a problem with your partner, yourself, your connection, or a combination of these. For a few of you, this could be that you are seeing red flags, or perhaps you're dealing with a toxic or deceitful partner. However, for the majority of you, it's likely that you are feeling off within yourself. Like we saw earlier with the message of wanting what you have and having what you want with the peony card, the issue at hand could be that you are sensing yourself to be out of alignment. The Devil could be representing your inner demons or your flaws that are surfacing and trying to cut you down. For example, you may be dealing with insecurities, or perhaps you've been second-guessing yourself and feeling unlovable or unworthy. In this case, the Seven of Swords could be you deceiving yourself and leading yourself into a downward spiral. For those of you who are single, you might be struggling with similar inner conflict. Perhaps you have the rest of your life together with this Ten of Pentacles here, but for some reason, love is just not coming or working out the way you want it to. Especially for those of you who have been hoping for love so much and for so long, you may be getting frustrated or disappointed that your wishes are not being fulfilled. You could be feeling powerless or hopeless. Many of you may be keeping up a strong front so that your friends and family will not worry, but on the inside, you may really be starting to experience a bit of a dark night of the soul moment with respect to your love life. This can make things quite difficult, but it's not at all a bad thing because it will be able to lead to a lot of growth and evolution. If these messages are not resonating for you so far, perhaps this isn't your reading, so please feel free to try a different pile. If this does sound like your situation, let's go ahead and take a look at what you can expect for your future self's energy in romance. These cards will show us what you have to look forward to and give us some clues as to what kind of a love life future you will be experiencing. You got the World and also the Sun. Wow, I'm so happy to see these cards. For those of you who really need to hear this right now, your future self wants to assure you that things will definitely get better. And the sun will be shining and the flowers will be blooming in your love life. The World is also about completion, but this time there will be real harmony and fulfillment because the World is the last card of the major arcana, and it represents the final state of peaceful and balanced success after having gone through all the lessons with the cards that came before. Compared to just the appearance of having it all like we saw before with the Ten of Pentacles, future you will have lived and learned and overcome all these difficulties to arrive at a state of true alignment and satisfaction with the self and with love. Especially since it's paired with the sun here, which represents happiness, joy, and fulfillment as well, your future self has such a wonderful, healthy perspective on romance. It is very likely that future you is already with your soulmate and even married with children for those of you who want them, because the sun can mean birth and new life as well. I do want to note though that for those of you who are already in committed relationships right now, this does not mean that your current relationship will end and your future spouse is with someone new. If you are already with the one meant for you, then the two of you will definitely be motivated and able to work through these Devil and Seven of Swords issues together. And so this will be the two of you enjoying this beautiful world and sun energy with each other. For those of you who are curious, these cards could also be a clue as to what your soulmate is like. The World is earth and the sun is fire, so perhaps your person will have an earth or fire sign as their sun, moon, or rising. Maybe they are well-traveled, wise with worldly knowledge, down to earth, and they could have a warm and sunny disposition. Future you seems very happy and content with love and enjoying a beautiful, stable, secure, and warm relationship. There will also be so much heat and passion with the Sun card here, so you can definitely look forward to a very spicy and fulfilling love life. For this next part of the reading, we'll be asking your future self to give us some clues about what blockages or challenges may be coming your way in your love life. You have the Phlox with unanimity and harmony, and the message, he who lives in harmony with himself lives in harmony with the universe. You also have a tarot card, which is the Ten of Wands. This card talks about being overwhelmed, heavy burdens, and having too many responsibilities such that you are spreading yourself thin. Let's start with the Phlox, whose name comes from the Greek word for flame. It has a beautiful fragrance and has been used in herbal medicine for centuries. It represents unanimity and harmony because its flowers grow in close clusters. I'd like to read to you the inspirational message from the guidebook for this Phlox card. It says, "One single flower does not make a bouquet. One voice alone cannot create harmony. It's amazing what you can accomplish when you work in unity, combining the flames of your own passion with others' energy and talents." I think this message goes perfectly with the Ten of Wands that came out for you. Both these cards are suggesting that, probably for a lot of you, accepting help from others or letting others in could be something that you have a hard time with. Perhaps it's because you are very independent. You may have grown up having to provide for yourself and look out for your own best interests, so you are not used to letting others help you even when you are overwhelmed with carrying burdens alone. It could also be that you tend to keep people at arm's length, maybe because you have been hurt before or because you have issues with trust, especially when it comes to love. Regardless of what the reason may be, the tendency to close yourself up is a significant blockage that can hinder the development of your relationships. Your soulmate wants to share with you not only your happiness, but also your troubles. They want to be there for you through thick and thin, through the good and the bad, and they want to feel like you are comfortable depending on them during times of need. This applies for your close friends and family as well. All the people who love you want you to know that they are there for you, and it's okay to be weak sometimes because you can rely on them. Now, taking a closer look at the message on the Phlox card about living in harmony with the self and with the universe, another blockage could be being out of alignment with your true self or your true desires, like we saw earlier with the Devil and the Seven of Swords. Perhaps you're not being fully honest with yourself or with your person when it comes to what you really want and need in love. You might be ignoring red flags within love connections or within yourself, and when you're out of tune with your authentic path, the universe will also have a very hard time bringing you your manifestations. Also, when we're not being fully honest with ourselves, it's pretty much impossible to really feel content and at peace. Another challenge that comes to mind with the Ten of Wands could be that some of you may be preoccupied with too many other things going on in your life right now. Perhaps you're overwhelmed with what's happening with your family, career, or just life in general, so you have little energy left to invest into love. Some of you could even be subconsciously putting love on the back burner because you feel that everything else in your life is not yet under control, and so you might not be ready for love at the time. Wands are fiery, passionate energy, so this Ten of Wands could be suggesting that you are feeling a little overwhelmed by the intensity of the love that you feel for your person. Perhaps things are starting to get very real, and you're beginning to doubt yourself and whether you are actually ready for all of it. For those who already have their person but are wondering why your relationship is not progressing and advancing to the next stage, this Ten of Wands could be indicating that it's actually your person who is the one dealing with a lot on their plate, and they're the one putting the brakes on the connection. We saw with your current energy, the majority of you watching will likely have to do quite a bit of shadow work in the near future, but the cards want to assure you that this beautiful world and sun energy is waiting for you downstream on your love journey. Now then, let's also find out what your future self wants to tell you about the blessings that you will be receiving in your love life. You got the Gloxinia with love at first sight and proud spirit. And the message for you is, when I saw you, I fell in love, and you smiled because you knew. I love this. First, we have the lilac with first emotions of love, and now we have love at first sight. Like I said earlier, your future self really wants to assure you that you will be with the one you're meant to be with. It will feel like love at first sight for you, or perhaps your person will be the one feeling it. It'll be like you've known each other forever, so maybe you had a past life relationship together, and the familiarity and power of your bond will really be intense and magical. Your person could also adore your smile, even if you're shy and tend to hide your face, or this could be their smile that you love so much. Your person will be really proud of who you are, all that you have overcome, and everything you have achieved, and they'll be so proud to call you theirs. I also see this yellow butterfly on this card, so perhaps for some of you, butterflies could be a sign that your person is thinking of you, or maybe you see butterflies a lot prior to your meeting. Even if you don't believe in love at first sight, you could still experience it firsthand. The message with this card also illustrates a connection between you and your person that exists without the need for words. So you and your person will know each other very well, and you'll share a connection on a whole other level, such that you can communicate with one look, or even be so in tune with one another that you often seem to connect telepathically. You could be the couple that can finish each other's sentences because you are totally on the same wavelength. And finally, before we end your reading, we'll be asking your future self for some love advice. These could be tips for how to follow in their footsteps, or how they may have done things differently in hindsight. There could be warnings in here as well, so please feel free to apply the messages based on your own circumstances. There is the dog with pleasure with a close friend. The vulture with depression, anxiety, worry that someone is against you. The bird perched with waiting for news, package, letter. The bell with announcement. The axe with forces working against you. And finally, the V with victory in some endeavor. Wow, all right, let's break it down. Starting with the dog card. It is likely that you and your future spouse or soulmate will have an amazing friendship on top of your beautiful and passionate romance. You will not only have undeniable chemistry and love, you'll also really adore each other as people and be fortunate enough to call each other a dear friend. So feel at ease to be fully yourself, to be goofy and silly, and to have fun with your person. They'll enjoy it just as much as you do, and they'll love all your quirks as well. Now with the vulture here, I think the message ties in quite well with the energy we saw with the devil and the Seven of Swords. Like I mentioned earlier, a few of you could be dealing with a toxic relationship, and there might be red flags, deceit, and conflict. There may also be gaslighting involved, so you might be made to think that you're overthinking or making something out of nothing, but your future self wants to warn you that if your intuition is sounding the alarm bells, you are definitely onto something. For the few of you that need to hear this, if things feel wrong or off, listen to your inner voice and follow your heart. We also have the axe with the message that there are forces working against you. So for the few of you in the toxic situation, trust your instincts and have courage to cut away connections that no longer serve you. But like we mentioned before with your potential blockages, the forces working against you could be internal as well. A certain mindset, a preconceived notion, or a negative pattern could be what's causing your manifestations to not come to you. For a few of you watching, this could be a warning that things like work, responsibilities, or people who do not have your best interests at heart could challenge the progression of your love connection. As for the bird perched, some of you may be waiting to hear back from your person, or perhaps you've just reached out to someone you're interested in and you're anxiously waiting for them to respond. It could be an announcement that is coming your way with the bell here, and wedding bells are also coming to mind. So for a few of you, there could be marriage coming for you sometime in the near future. Perhaps this announcement will really shock or surprise you, which is why your future self wants to give you heads up that some big news is coming your way. And last but not least, V is for victory, which shows that you will definitely succeed with overcoming your challenges, and you will be able to create and enjoy the wonderful love that you have always wanted. Even if it's a small victory, like getting a step closer to becoming tuned in with your intuition, or realizing what you have now is not what you want exactly, every step counts, and the steps will add up and eventually lead you to evolve into future you, who is radiating with this lovely world and sun energy. Also, since V is a letter, for a few of you, V could be one of your or your person's initials. I do wish you all the best on your journey to becoming this future you, and I am excited for all the amazing blessings that are waiting for you in your love life. Those are all the messages I have for you today. I hope that you enjoyed your reading and that it helped you gain some clarity and insight on your love life. Please remember though, this is a general reading, so don't worry if not every single message was for you. Also, as always, I want to remind you that we all have the power to shape our own destinies. So please feel empowered, because if there is something you don't like in your reading, trust that you do have the power to influence and change it. Please let me know in the comments below if things resonated for you, and please feel free to leave a like and subscribe to this channel. Thank you so much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one. This reading is for those of you who are drawn to the Red Rattan Ball. Thank you for joining me, and welcome to your reading. We'll be starting by getting an idea of your current energy with respect to your love life, as well as the energy of your future self. We'll then be figuring out what future you wants to tell current you about the blockages or challenges you may need to face, as well as what blessings are waiting for you in your love life. At the end, we will receive some love advice from your future self and see what messages they really think you need to hear at this point in your journey. Let's begin by getting an overall theme or message that your future self really wants to bring to your attention regarding your romantic situation. You have the trumpet gentian, which represents power and healing. The message for this card says, to get what you love, you first have to be patient with what you have. This plant is not only valued for its beautiful, intense blue flower, it's also said to have medicinal properties used in many herbal remedies. However, it takes a few years for this plant to mature fully, so the message here is about patience in the process of powerful healing. With this card coming out as the main theme, your future self wants to remind you that for your love life, it is likely that many of you will have to face some challenges when it comes to patience and perseverance in romance. I feel like some of you may be already struggling with love and possibly getting a little frustrated that things are not working out the way you want them to. As well, since there is also the message of healing, some of you may have been hurt in the past and currently on a process toward recovery. For a few of you, this could also be something that you may have to experience soon as part of your journey. Regardless, your future self wants to assure you that you will be regaining your own power and agency, and that healing is in store for you. In fact, the reason why love hasn't worked out for many of you who are having trouble could be that you have yet to heal yourself. Perhaps subconsciously you still feel you are not good enough, or beautiful enough, smart enough, mature enough, or even deep down you think that things shouldn't come easily without hard work, or that you don't deserve love. If this resonates for you, please take time to love yourself. It may require patience, but putting effort and heart into yourself will always be a worthwhile investment, and everything else will follow naturally. Now then, let's get a better understanding of your current energy, what you may be going through, and what you might be struggling with in love. If these messages sound like you, it can also act as further confirmation for you that this is indeed your reading. Perhaps these cards will also tell us about what you may be healing from, as we saw from the Trumpet Gentian card. We have the Justice card, the Temperance card, and the Eight of Cups. Justice is Libra, Temperance is Sagittarius, and Cups is water. So these may be your Sun, Moon, Rising, or Venus. If you have a romantic partner or a love interest at the moment, these could also be one of their signs. First then, with the Justice card here, which represents fairness, balance, and decisiveness, it could be that some of you are trying to make an important decision or have just come to this decision with regards to your love life. Maybe things have been a little out of balance for you, so you are hoping to reinstate harmony in your life. Also, whenever the Justice card comes out in a love reading for me, I always think about the struggle for balance between the head and the heart. For example, some of you could be in a situation where your logical mind thinks you should do one thing, but your heart wants to take you in a completely different direction. This card could also be indicating that some of you are a little caught up in your head right now and second-guessing yourself or questioning your own intuition. Especially with the Temperance card here, which can also talk about balance, there is a strong message about achieving that state of equilibrium. Temperance is about self-restraint, moderation, and virtue as well. It represents patience, and this makes a lot of sense with the overall message we saw with your Trumpet Gentian card. It could be that some of you may actually be holding back in your love life. You could be feeling that you have so much love that you want to give, but you don't have the right person to receive it. A few of you may also be toning your true self down because you are afraid to fully express yourself and show your quirks and weaknesses for fear that your person will not love you for them. However, with the Eight of Cups here, which talks about retreating to delve within and walking away from things that no longer serve you, it's possible that some of you have recently chosen to leave a romantic connection. If this is you, then the Justice card and the Temperance card are affirming for you that you have made the right choice, and you are or will soon be experiencing the feeling of regaining your power and reaching that harmony within yourself. There could be times when you second guess yourself and this decision, but the cards are saying that it was indeed the right choice, and it could be one of the first steps toward the healing that is meant to come for you. If these messages are resonating for you so far, you can take it as confirmation that you have picked the right reading. But if not, please feel free to try a different pile. We'll now be looking into your future self's energy with respect to your love life. This can show us what you have to look forward to and give us some clues as to what kinds of transformations you may experience in your love journey. you got the Three of Cups, and also the Queen of Wands. This is really wonderful energy. Cups are full of love and emotion, and the Three of Cups in particular talks about celebration and joy. Wands represent passion and creation, and the Queen of Wands is strong, sensual, confident, and empowered. I'm really happy to see these two cards come out to represent your future self, because it's quite clear that future you is feeling so successful in love. It's likely that your future self is enjoying a beautiful, amazing relationship full of romance and emotion, as represented by the water energy of the cups, as well as heated, fiery passion represented by the fire energy of the wands. This could also be a clue that your future romantic partner has a water or fire sign as their sun, moon, rising, or it could simply be saying that your relationship will be a beautiful balance of these water and fire energies. The Three of Cups also represents friendship and togetherness, so it's likely that you and your person will not only be romantic lovers, but also close friends. With the Queen of Wands here, there will be certainly an amazing, fervent, and sensual connection between you two. But also, you'll have that deep emotional and spiritual bond as represented by the cups. Your future self feels celebrated and seen and confident, powerful, and inspired. Also, with the friendship message in the Three of Cups card, it could be that for some of you, your future romantic partner will start out as your friend, or they could be a friend from the past that you reunite with, or someone who is introduced to you through a mutual friend. I am very excited for you to evolve into your future self, because future you looks to be so happy and fulfilled not only with love, but inwardly with yourself as well. You'll be confident and you'll know your own value and your own worth, and you'll truly believe that you deserve to be loved. In fact, I feel a lot of you may already be on the path toward growing into this beautiful person and finding the love that you have been manifesting. With these next cards, we'll be asking your future self to give us some heads up about what difficulties or challenges may be coming your way in your love life and what you may have to overcome before you can step into this beautiful Three of Cups and Queen of Wands energy. There is the bellflower with gratitude and the message, gratitude makes sense of our past, brings peace for today, and creates a vision for tomorrow. You also have the Queen of Pentacles and the Seven of Cups. Starting with the bellflower and the message of gratitude. The first thing that came to mind was the idea that even rejection is divine protection. One thing many of you may be struggling with could be coming to terms with why things have not worked out for you in love, or why your manifestations are not coming forward as quickly or as fully as you had hoped. Perhaps logically you understand that challenges and lessons help you grow, but subconsciously you're not fully at peace with why you have to face so much difficulty. You might be in a pattern of feeling sorry for yourself or getting used to struggles such that you've built a belief that good things should not come to you easily, or that you're meant to have a hard time with love. This kind of energy is often a major blockage for receiving your blessings. One simple way to turn this mindset around is to notice even the small things and be grateful for them. And even if you feel like you've lost in love and have experienced relationships that didn't work out, think about what you gained from them, because they probably helped you figure out what you want, what you need, and what you cannot accept. Like this, your energy will be of appreciation of what you do have, and that is abundant energy, and it will attract even more abundance to you. Another potential challenge that came out for you is this Queen of Pentacles. This is usually a beautiful card full of stability, security, generosity, and grounding. But as a blockage, it could be indicating that some of you may have trouble with change. Perhaps you tend to hold onto the need to be stable, such that even when new opportunities come, you are reluctant to even give them a chance. Some of you watching may be quite stuck in your comfort zone and a little bit fearful of stepping out and broadening your horizons. The reason for this could be that you're worried about being overwhelmed and led astray. Because the Seven of Cups talks about having too many options, illusions, and indecision. You could be reluctant toward making a change or coming out of the safety of your walls because with so many new paths that can appear for you, choosing one to go down can become quite daunting. You might be worried about all the things that can go wrong, and what if you make a wrong turn or get hurt? For example, a few of you could be currently dealing with a romantic connection that is not fulfilling. Perhaps you have noticed red flags or toxicities, or just that the relationship is not meeting your needs. However, you are scared to end things because it would mean you'll need to start again and go back into the dating scene from square one. And while it's good to know that there are plenty of fish in the sea, having so many options can feel overwhelming, especially when compared to the comfort of what you are used to, even if what you're used to is no longer serving you. However, just like the images on this card, expanding your horizons could mean there are snakes and monsters, but there will also be treasure and victory ahead. You will not be able to discover and obtain that amazing opportunity unless you gather the courage to actually go out there, right? Of course, there is always the risk that you could get hurt, but if you want the chance to receive the blessings waiting for you to discover, it will have to be a risk that you are willing to take. On that note, let's now find out about what your future self wants to tell you regarding these blessings that you will be receiving in your love life. I meant to get only one card for this, but both of these popped out, so there will definitely be a lot of wonderful things waiting for you. We have the Camellia with Destiny. Wow, yes, that's amazing. And the message here is, it is not in the stars to hold our destiny, but in ourselves. You also have the Hydrangea with Thankfulness for Understanding. And the message, before we can forgive one another, we have to understand one another. First of all, with the Camellia and Destiny, your future self wants to tell you that one major blessing coming for you in your love life is that you will be finding the person you're destined to be with. Camellias come in many different colors, but the one on this card is white, which represents a fresh start. So this will either be someone completely new for you, or you'll be entering a brand new, higher level with the person you already have in mind. According to the guidebook for this deck, the camellia is the flower for sons and daughters in Chinese culture. It represents the divine for the Japanese, and it's used in wedding ceremonies to symbolize longevity and faithfulness in Korea. The gift of a white camellia brings the message that the sender and the recipient are destined to be together. So, especially for those of you who have been working on manifesting your soulmate, this card wants to assure you that they are on their way to you. As well, there could likely be marriage and even children for those of you who want them. In the message on this card, there is a strong sense of manifestation and being the creator of your own destiny. While the stars do play a big part in our lives, the universe grants us the power to hold our destiny in ourselves as well. So maybe you just got into the concept of manifestation or the law of attraction, or perhaps you've been practicing for a while now. But your future self wants to tell you that you will be seeing a lot of success with manifesting your dreams and desires, especially with respect to your love life. Now, with the Hydrangea card here, another blessing coming for you in romance will be the ability to understand not only your partner, but also your inner self. Some of you could be getting over a big hurdle with your person or with yourself, and you'll find peace and forgiveness. You and your person will really be on the same page, and you'll see each other fully and appreciate one another. But more importantly, perhaps, you will be in tune with yourself, and you'll have a clear understanding of what is authentic to you and what you want and what you need in love. Particularly for those of you who are feeling confused or worried about being overwhelmed with choices and options, I look forward for this blessing coming to you, because when you know and understand yourself on a deep and genuine level, decisions will become much easier to make because you will be connected with your heart, with your mind, and with your intuition. Finally, before we end your reading, we will be asking your future self for some love advice. These could be tips based on what future you thinks you've done right, or what future you may want to do differently in hindsight, so you won't have to make the same mistakes. There could be warnings as well, so please feel free to apply the advice as you see fit within your own situation. You have flowers with the message happiness. Fire with strong emotion, passionate love or hate. Hammock with taking a vacation physically or mentally. Flag with do not be tempted to lower your standards. This is a good one. And last but not least, firecracker with excitement. Ooh. It looks like your future self wants to assure you that there will absolutely be a lot of happiness and excitement in store for you in your love life. Out of all these tea leaves, the one card that really stands out is the blue of this bird in the flowers card. It's possible that you may be seeing bluebirds as your sign or confirmation that your blessings and manifestations are coming, and that you are on the right path. Also, for those of you who are feeling frustrated that things haven't been working out for you in your love life, or that you're not getting many love offers or not feeling any real connections despite meeting lots of people and putting yourself out there on the dating scene, future you wants to give you some much needed encouragement, because both the fire and the firecracker coming out for you, things will be setting in motion. Perhaps very suddenly or explosively even, and you may not even see it coming. There will be a flood of emotion, and while a lot of it will be good emotion, there could also be negative feelings, as we see in the message of the fire card predicting passionate love or hate. However, it will be undeniable that you will feel alive. Do not be afraid of this though, because having that contrast of hardships and difficulties will be what makes the blessings and rewards you earn feel even more amazing. Having a taste of the bad will also help you to appreciate and really treasure and savor the good. And with this message in particular, I do get the feeling that some of you watching may be afraid to fully let yourself feel. It could be that you have been wounded in the past and have been desensitized, or you've numbed yourself in order to protect your heart. Like we saw earlier with the Temperance card, which can talk about self-restraint and moderation, you may be consciously or subconsciously watering down your feelings and the expressions of your emotions. And maybe you're not allowing yourself to fully immerse in the romantic experience. But like we said with the Seven of Cups, if you're scared to take a chance for fear of the things that can go wrong, you may miss out on the things that will go right. If this sounds like you, your future self wants to empower you to let go of your inhibitions and love boldly and bravely. But with the hammock advising you to take a break, I'm reminded of your overall theme message with the trumpet gentian about taking time that you need and being patient with yourself to do your own inner healing. For example, you could be feeling like you are running out of time. Perhaps as you are getting older, the people around you are all finding their true loves and pairing up. Perhaps they're getting married, having children, or otherwise seeming like they have their life in order. In contrast, you may be feeling a little bit left behind. You might think that you are not on schedule and that time is ticking away. Your family and friends may even be giving you some pressure to find your person and settle down. If this is your case, then future you wants to tell you it's all right to take a vacation for yourself and to rest if you need to, both physically and mentally. Taking time for your own shadow work and evolution is definitely not a waste of time. In fact, it's very necessary for your well-being and inner peace. If sometime in the near future you find yourself feeling like you are being rushed or rushing yourself, remember this hammock and allow yourself to go at a pace that feels authentic to you. Things will come to you in divine timing. Succumbing to negative pressure often leads to decisions that you will be unsatisfied with, and it may make you settle for lowering your standards. Particularly for those of you who are currently in a connection that doesn't meet your needs, or if you're seeing red flags that you should not ignore. Your future self is trying to remind you of your own worth and to warn you that you should not have to lower your standards. There will be temptation to take the easy way out, and there will surely be challenges for you to overcome, but happiness and excitement are absolutely meant to come for you in romance, and you will have the chance to love that beautiful, magical love that you have always dreamed of, and you will meet the one you are destined to be with. Those are all the messages I have for you today. I hope that you enjoyed this reading and found it helpful. Please remember, this is a general reading, so claim the messages that resonate for you. Also, as always, I want to remind you that we all have the ability to shape our own futures. So please feel empowered, because if there's something you don't like in your reading, trust that you can influence and change it. Please let me know in the comments below if things resonated for you, and please feel free to leave a like and subscribe to this channel. Thank you so much for watching, take care, and I will see you in the next one. This reading is for those of you who are drawn to the Red Rattan Ball. Thank you for joining me today and welcome to your reading. We will be getting an idea of your current energy with respect to your love life, as well as the energy of your future self. Then we'll be figuring out what your future self wants to tell you about the blockages or challenges you may need to face, as well as what blessings are waiting for you in your love life. And at the end, we'll receive some love advice from future you and see what messages you really need to hear at this point in your journey. I would like to start with this card, which will give us an overall theme or idea that your future self wants to bring to your attention regarding what's coming to you in love. You have the Magnolia, which represents nobility and self-esteem, with the message, "There is nothing noble in being superior to your fellow men. True nobility lies in being superior to your former self." The magnolia is a beautiful flower. Even the name magnolia sounds so regal and poised. The magnolia tree is supposedly one of the first flowering plants to have evolved on Earth, and it carries with it a lot of ancient and divine wisdom. Perhaps those of you who chose this pile identify as old souls, or there could be a beautiful, dignified, and graceful air about you, which your romantic partner finds extremely attractive about you. This card could also be advice from your future self to always foster and build your self-esteem and your own identity, even when in partnerships. With the message here, it's telling us that instead of comparing yourself to others, you should compare yourself to your former self. And I think this is very fitting, seeing how this reading is about messages from your future self. Some of you watching might have a habit of comparison, and you may be in a pattern of putting other people's strengths against your own shortcomings. With respect to love in particular, it could be that while love is in the air for everyone else around you, it's not yet happening for you. Maybe your friends and peers are all getting into relationships, finding their person, getting married, but things haven't exactly been rosy in your love life. It could be causing you to question yourself or doubt yourself and wonder if it's because you're not good enough. And with this card, future you wants to remind you to stay true to yourself and to do your best to avoid comparing to others, especially if it's just making you feel bad and bringing your energy down. There is also a special magnolia called the Yulan magnolia, which looks like a little bird before it's about to bloom. These magnolias are native to China, and they're seen as a symbol of purity. As they bloom, they turn from birds into beautiful flowers, so there could also be a message of metamorphosis and evolution with the magnolia. So those of you who picked this reading may be welcoming a beautiful transformation or blossoming of your love life very soon. With these next cards, we will get a better understanding of your current energy, what you may be going through, and what you might be struggling with in love. These cards can also help to further confirm for you that this is indeed your reading. We have the Hanged Man, the Page of Swords, and also the Knight of Cups. First of all, with the Hanged Man here, there is a sense of suspended action, letting go, and trials and tribunals. Things within your love life may seem to be on hold. If you are in a love connection right now, perhaps you're not progressing in the way and at the pace you were hoping for. Or maybe you are completely stuck. It could feel like your person is testing you or playing games, or you could even be the one who is consciously or subconsciously trying to test your person's feelings for you. The cause of this could be that one or both of you is having trouble with surrendering to love and being loved. Similarly, for those of you who are single, the reason you may be struggling with receiving love offers and finding the person you have been trying to manifest could be the inability to release your desires into the universe, trust the process, and just let go. Regardless of what your situation may be, there is a sense of suspension and not being able to move forward. The swords here are air energy, which represents the mind, ego, and thoughts. And cups are water energy, which represents love, emotion, and spiritual connection. With both these elements coming out for you, it could be that you are having conflict with logic versus intuition or ego versus heart. You may also have an air sign such as Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, or a water sign of Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces as one of your signs. The Page of Swords is also about honesty and expressing how you truly feel, but perhaps not in the most eloquent of ways, because the page can mean speaking whatever comes to mind without thinking things through, which can sometimes cause conflict or misunderstandings. Perhaps for some of you, you have recently started getting honest with yourself about what you desire in your love life. For those of you who are with someone already, it could be that you have started being more honest with each other. Maybe you have yet to perfect your communication technique, and it could be a source of conflict or frustration. The Knight of Cups here is a warm, loving energy, though. It can mean a new love offer as well. So for a few of you watching, you may or may not have noticed, but there is someone around you recently who is interested in you romantically. If these messages are resonating for you so far, this is confirmation that you've picked the right reading. But if not, please feel free to try a different pile. Now that we know a bit about your current situation, let's see what your future self's energy looks like with respect to love and romance. This can show us what you have to look forward to and give us some clues as to what kinds of transformations you may experience in your love life soon. You have the Wheel of Fortune and also the Two of Cups. Wow, this is such amazing, wonderful energy. First and foremost, I want to mention that the Two of Cups is a soulmate card all about union, bonding, loyalty, and partnership. Paired with the Wheel of Fortune, which represents luck, destiny, and evolution, I feel quite confident that your future self is with your soulmate, and your love life is as exciting and magical as you had always hoped. Future you feels so abundant and fulfilled in love and has such an empowered and high energy outlook on life. Also, for a few of you watching, your soulmate represented by this Two of Cups could very well be the love offer coming towards you currently as the Knight of Cups, because as you can see, the Knight carrying his cup really mirrors the appearance and posture of this partner in the Two of Cups. They're even wearing the same colors of blue, white, gray, and red. And for the Wheel of Fortune, it is the number 10, which is all about completion and contentment. The companion cards for the Wheel of Fortune are the Magician and the Sun, both of which are high energy cards that are full of creation, manifestation, and joy. The Wheel of Fortune is also connected to the planet Jupiter, which is all about blessings of luck, expansion, and opportunity. Especially for those of you who are currently feeling a little suspended and stuck in romance with the Hanged Man, your future self wants to assure you that the wheels will start to turn again and things will be set in motion. And when they do, there's going to be a beautiful transformation and evolution. The Wheel of Fortune is also about cycles, so this could be a reminder that even when you are at a low point in your love life, the seasons will change and spring will always come. It seems that future you is very happy and in such a great, wonderful place in your love journey. I'm so excited for you to enter into this beautiful energy. But of course, there are often lessons that we need to learn before we're able to level up. So now let's ask your future self to give us some insight into what difficulties or challenges may be coming your way in romance. You got the Iris, which represents rainbows and messages. And it says, when it rains, look for rainbows. When it's dark, look for stars. For your tarot cards, you have the King of Wands and also the Chariot. This is interesting. The King of Wands and the Chariot are usually two great cards to receive for a love reading, but they're coming out as potential blockages for you. Let's first take a look at your Iris card. The name Iris comes from the Greek goddess of the rainbow. She is a messenger of the gods, and she brings communications from the divine to the mortal realm by traveling on a rainbow. However, rainbows come after the storm, And like how the message on this card talks about rain and darkness before finding the rainbow and seeing stars, it could be indicating that one major blockage for your love life is a storm or a dark night of the soul that you may need to overcome prior to being able to reach your rainbow and find your stars. I do get a lot of optimism from this card though. So for some of you, a pessimistic mindset or being closed-minded to seeing the bright side could be another cause of why your manifestations are not coming to you. Now moving on to the King of Wands. This card usually represents passion, charm, leadership, and authority. However, as a blockage, it could be impatience, intolerance, or being hot-headed or stubborn. In particular, if you're going through a period in your love life during which you're feeling frustrated that things are not going right, the lack of patience and always wondering why your wishes are not being fulfilled could be a major contributor to further stalling the arrival of your blessings. For some of you watching, I feel that the King of Wands could also represent a specific person in your life. Someone who has a lot of influence over you or someone you tend to look up to. For example, if you are in a situationship or in an unfulfilling relationship, this King of Wands could be your current partner. They might be a bit intense, possessive, or even a little aggressive. If you're still caught up in the wrong connection, there's no room and little opportunity for you to welcome in the love that is actually right for you. This King of Wands could also be a parent or someone else that you respect. Perhaps growing up, you have witnessed important people around you go through failed relationships or toxicities with love. So there are some patterns or preconceptions that have been ingrained in your psyche. If this resonates for you, then you may need to do some shadow work and overcome these obstacles in order to change your perspective toward love. And finally, with the Chariot, which represents triumph, victory, and conquest, another blockage for some of you could be the need for control or the desire to win. For example, you may be subconsciously not fully opening yourself up to love because you are fearful of losing control over your emotions. Truly bonding with someone often involves breaking down your walls and taking off your armor. It can absolutely be scary, especially if it's something you're not used to. For others of you, the desire for victory could be making the undertone of your relationships into one of competition, where it's you versus your partner, when it should actually be you and your partner working as a team against the issue at hand. I do feel that there could be a lot of difficult lessons for those of you who picked this group. But as we saw with the Iris card, your future self wants to assure you that after a storm, there will be your rainbow. And even in the darkness, you can always look to your stars. Future you has such wonderful energy, so there will definitely be amazing blessings that are coming for you in your love life. And with this next card, we will find out what these blessings could be. You have the Coreopsis with the message, always joyful, and the quote, write it on your heart that every day is the best day of the year. I would like to read you the inspirational message from the guidebook for this card because it fits perfectly with what we just saw with the challenges you may have to face. It says, you've learned to weather the cycles of life. After dark periods, the sun always returns and your spirit is renewed. If you look, you'll find a reason to celebrate each day with an attitude of joie de vivre. Joie de vivre is French for the joy of living, and again, this matches so very well with your future self's beautiful energy as we saw earlier. The guidebook also mentions that the name Coreopsis comes from Kore, which is another name for the Greek goddess Persephone. She became the queen of the underworld after Hades abducted her and made her his wife, but she is allowed to return to the land of the living for 8 months every year. The 4 months she spends in the underworld is represented by the cold, barren months of winter, and her return is marked by spring, when nature and love reawaken. I notice there is another confirmation of cycles and seasons, just like how we saw before, with both the Iris and the Wheel of Fortune. You may have to weather those storms in your love life, but you will be able to come out the other side even stronger. Your experiences with hardship will not only strengthen your character, they'll also teach you to be even more grateful and appreciative of the happiness you create and receive. I now have several tea leaf cards for you. Before we end your reading, we will be asking your future self for some love advice. These could be suggestions for how to proceed in order to reach the beautiful Wheel of Fortune and Two of Cups energy of your future self, or ideas on what future you may have done differently in hindsight now that they are wiser. There could be warnings in here as well, so please feel free to apply the advice as you see fit with your own situation. So you have the Tower with solid foundation, success with effort. Bull with the message, plenty of material things. Target with a goal-oriented person. You also have the Lion with time to act. The Dog with protection from a powerful friend. And also Diamond with you'll be receiving or giving a precious gift. First off, with the Tower, your future self is advising you to build solid foundations with your love connections. To be able to build these solid foundations, you will need to put in a lot of effort and invest your time and heart. You'll likely need patience as well, but having the solid foundation will be what will enable you to weather through any storm that may come your way. There's also the Tower in Tarot, but it has a meaning almost opposite of what is depicted by this tea leaf card. In Tarot, the Tower talks about sudden upheaval, demolition, and destruction. So perhaps future you wants to bring to your attention that without these solid foundations, things can easily sway toward the catastrophic outcome of the Tower card in Tarot. I have a feeling that these solid foundations are not only referring to your relationship. For a lot of you watching, this could be referring to building up yourself and your self-esteem and sense of worth. Knowing yourself and being in tune with your inner voice would prove to be very helpful in facing your fears and overcoming challenges. A few of you may also be facing a relationship with your person, which may be particularly difficult at the moment. If your heart tells you that you have the right person, then the Tower here is encouraging you to work through those issues, and you will be rewarded for your efforts with success. With the Bull here, there are two ways I'm interpreting this. For the majority of you, the message is confirming that you will be welcoming a lot of abundance into your love life, and you'll receive the fruits of your labor from overcoming your difficulties. However, for a few of you, this could be a reminder to keep sight of the bigger picture and see beyond the material things to find that deeper emotional and spiritual connection. There will be plenty of material things, but true bonds are harder to come by, so don't get distracted by shiny things and lose sight of what really matters. With the message of a goal-oriented person for the Target card, this could be a clue about a quality of your soulmate. They might be someone who is focused and driven, or it could be speaking to how they will know that you are exactly what they want, and they will come right out to claim you. This may also be a message for you to figure out what it is you want in love. And if you feel your intuition pulling you towards someone or a certain direction, do not get caught up in your head and second guess yourself. Like the arrow aiming directly for the bullseye, have the courage to go out there and claim what is meant for you. Especially paired with the lion with a message of time to act. Perhaps some of you have been struggling with a bit of indecisiveness or a lack of initiative. You may be more used to sitting around and waiting for the other person to approach you to get things in motion. If this sounds like you, perhaps you have been wondering if you've missed out on people and opportunities by not making a move. This can tend to be more of a problem with those of you who identify more with the divine feminine. The feminine is the more receptive energy, and she is usually the pursued as opposed to being the pursuer. However, this does not mean that the feminine does not have any power to influence, persuade, encourage, and seduce her love interest. The power of the feminine is in the feeling, expressing, and creating room to receive. Often the feminine provides the guidance within a romantic relationship to explore and build the emotional side of the connection. So if there's something that you feel so sure of and emotions that you feel so strongly about, be empowered to take action because you also have protection from a powerful friend. This could be an actual friend who looks out for you, but on the bigger scale, I feel that this powerful friend is the universe itself. The universe has your back and will give you divine protection on your journey. It only gives the hardest challenges to those it knows are strong enough to handle it. And last but not least, we have the diamond. Right away, diamond rings are coming to mind, of course. So you may be finding your forever person soon, and marriage is a part of your future. Looking back at all the messages for this group, I can say that your love journey will likely not be easy, but it will definitely be transformative and rewarding. So even when times get tough, don't give up on the beautiful love that you want for yourself, which you are so very worthy of. Those are all the messages I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed this reading and gained some insight and clarity into your love situation. Please remember this is a general reading, so not every single message will pertain to everyone. Also, as always, I want to remind you that we are all able to shape our own futures. So please feel empowered because if there's something you don't like in your reading, trust that you do have the opportunity to influence and change it. Please let me know in the comments below if things resonated for you, and please feel free to leave a like and subscribe to this channel. Thank you so much for watching, take care, and I'll see you in the next one.